Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode 249 at scavengerlife.com.
Welcome to Trash Shelf Radio. We hope that you're photographing and listing and packing right now. If you've chosen to sell on eBay as your profession, you found your people.
It's like, we say the same thing every week, except we change the number. Yes. Okay, we're no longer sick, thank goodness.
Yep, this past week was our first week kind of being back from not being sick. It feels good. I like having energy.
Yes.
One big thing we did this week was we had turned in our taxes to our accountant a couple weeks ago, and he called us. He said he was done. We went in, we got our taxes back, and we're done. This was the first year where we had been keeping up with our quarterly tax payments, paying exactly what our accountant told us to pay every 3 months. And the great thing was we were already paid up. So we actually are getting back refunds for this year.
I was actually in shock when he said that. He's like, you're getting refunds. What?
Right. I mean, so, you know, it is a little bit painful every 3 months to pay those quarterly payments.
Yes, it is.
You know?
Yes.
But whew, it is worth it, you know.
Oh, man, it's so nice at the end of the year that you're like, we don't have to, break the bank.
You know, on our calendar, I now always put when we owed the quarterly payments, so I know when that payment's coming.
Good.
And, I love keeping on top of our taxes. It's just about...
I love it.
I do. I love it because I remember in past years when, we were kind of developing being business people and, we don't work for other people and they aren't taking taxes out of any paycheck.
Right.
And then at the end of the year, we owe all these taxes and we're like, putting like 1 to 2 months of income just towards only taxes, and it's very stressful.
Yep.
And we're trying to do other things as well.
Yep.
It's nice.
No, it was great.
Staying on top of it.
I think it's great. I'm not making fun of you at all.
And, I think for those who are not yet at that place where they've developed a system to handle this stuff, for us, it was all about getting organized, getting help, which means getting an accountant, and then just sticking to the plan.
Right.
It has not been easy. It did not happen overnight. I mean, I would say this is a 3-year process for us. You know? But this was the first year where all that organization and help has paid off. I mean, I think this is year number 2 that I actually do the bookkeeping on the first of the month, which I wasn't doing before, and it was an absolute nightmare. It was horrifying. And messy, and I would miss months. It was awful. It was horrible. And so doing it once a month, syncing your accounts, and there are a few accounts that GoDaddy bookkeeping won't sync automatically, so I have to do it by hand. And I just do that on the first of every month, and it pays off at the end of the year. And it takes about an hour, right?
Yeah, it takes, I would say, about an hour. Yeah.
Hour more or less?
I mean, because I do other things too, like I, do our whatever different bookkeeping for the rental, blah, blah, blah. I would say it takes about an hour, which is an hour a month. Yeah. That's really not that bad.
Yeah.
So.
And it's cool because I know our accountant, it's this year, he does the interview where we, come
intake interview.
And we bring him all of our info and he goes over it. And he was like finding all these cool deductions.
Yeah, it was
which
good.
Was nice. And I didn't even understand it, but that's
why you have him.
That's why that's why we pay him.
Right, exactly. Okay, so enough talk about taxes.
That's great. I mean, some people are probably like, wow, I wish ours were that easy.
Well, it took, so long to get to that point. Okay, it was very nice weather this week. It was like downright hot outside.
It was like springtime here in Virginia, and we were just driving down the road, and we saw our first yard sale of the year, and we stopped.
Now, these people are what Mikey calls, like, the perma-yard sale.
Yeah.
Now, these people's neighbors must not like them very much, because when it's nice out, doesn't matter the day of the week.
Like, they probably have 10 yard sales, like 10 weekends, for the summertime, the spring
and
and summertime.
They have their yard sale.
And actually, when we stopped, he said, because he goes into the town to get a license to do the yard sale.
Oh, they do get a license.
He said that they were the first people of the year.
So when they get... Sorry, this is going to get really nerdy. What are the limitations on the license? Like, are they like, you can't have this every day of the week? You can't have this every weekend?
I guess, yeah. I mean, because they don't do it every weekend.
Okay, they're not that perma.
But they do it quite
regularly. Often, yeah.
I guess they don't do it enough where they're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, and they have a permit, so...
Yeah.
Because they're in town limits, that's why.
But it's great, though. We love these kind of yard sales, these kind of guys. He had a lot of stuff, and I asked him where he got it all, and he said he bought a storage
locker, yeah.
Locker. And we love guys like this because, he even knew that some stuff was worth a lot because he was looking up on his phone, but he doesn't want to actually sell it online, so he was just selling stuff so cheap. It was great. I mean...
And so the great part about it was... There are this pile, you guys have seen it, this pile of boxes that are basically falling apart, and they're filled with books and old software. And Jay was looking through it like, what's this? And he was like, just take that away. Take it for free.
Right.
And we're on a crazy Amazon kick right now. We were like,
perfect, yeah.
What? He gave us like 12 boxes.
He was even helping us load these boxes of books and software into the back of the truck and say, come back, I have more. And we stopped two more times
yeah.
over the next couple of days, and we're going to stop again. And we've been sending them into Amazon.
Now, the thing about these books is they're not novels. He's pulled out all the novels because he's trying to sell those in his yard sale, which makes sense. These books are... a weird mixture of vintage 1980s software manuals and user guides and programmers guides for like Pascal and C++. And a lot of them are brand new. I mean, these have not been touched. They sat on someone's shelf for 20, 30 years.
And there's textbooks and just
there's all these business books. Textbooks, economic brand new. I mean, textbooks are worth a lot of money. Whether or not a textbook from 1989 is worth anything, I don't know.
Here's why I laugh is because I just find it so interesting with Amazon FBA. So as long as, from what I understand, as long as we don't sit in multiples of anything, there's no long-term storage fees. So once we send these books in, I assume Amazon will just hold on to these books
till they sell, right? Long
forever.
Tail.
So, I mean,
forever.
So, other than the cost of us mailing it in, which is like pennies,
yeah,
because of the cheap,
the
rates.
That they get.
I mean, it doesn't cost us anything. So, I'm not quite sure I understand that business model, but we're just gonna try it. It's really. Like someone told us, I mean, it's truly the list it and forget it, because we'll never have to touch these things again. They either sell and Amazon ships it, or they don't sell and they just hold on to them.
It's weird. But look, I mean, the thing is, when I scanned some of these textbooks, I mean, some of them are worth like $100 in new condition. Still, I mean, people had a couple of them listed and you're like, okay, I'll try it.
And so it's a yard sale, and we did the same thing too with what people had told us. We were looking for things that had barcodes, so there were things like new in the box, little hardware items and things like that.
Yeah,
and we're gonna send those in too. I mean, it's like $8, $12, but
yeah, but if you got them for like nothing,
I mean, we got them for 10 cents each. Like,
and the crazy thing is,
the bundle.
Yeah, the bundle that was really good. We're like, how much for all this? Just give me a price. $4, great. So the other thing too about Amazon, I was complaining for a couple weeks that I couldn't list new items. And I finally figured out what the problem is, and I should have known that this was the problem. Okay, like, here's an example. I have a shower curtain. It's by, like, whatever, Simply Shabby Chic, which was a Target brand.
It's actually called that?
Yes. That's why you can't say Shabby Chic anymore on eBay, because they trademarked it. This company trademarked it. Rachel Ashwell. Anyway, so I found this and it has a barcode. So I kept trying to use that barcode. Look, this is the barcode. And for some reason, finally, Amazon got back to me on the, like, case notes on the case I opened to ask about it. And they're like, that's an invalid UPC. I was like, oh, duh. Okay, so I'm not going to use that UPC. I bought 500 UPCs off eBay for 99 cents. I don't know how somebody makes money on that. It's crazy. I don't know how they make UPCs. But anyway, I bought 500. So I just used one of my brand new UPCs and I was able to list it. Thank goodness. I was like, finally. I'm going to not care about the UPCs on here unless it comes up in the catalog. Obviously, then I don't have to make a new listing. But like, I have a plush animal. It's an anime plush animal. There's no other one on Amazon. And I was like, oh God, getting into plush. I never thought. But, so I just applied my UPC because it doesn't have a UPC code and I listed it. And I was like, it was like a breakthrough moment. I'm like, finally.
I mean, we were talking about this in the car, you know. People complain about eBay, like, eBay is so clunky and, like, all these things are wrong. I mean, we find the same with Amazon.
It's the same.
It's just, these are huge, large systems that have been built up over time, and things fall through the cracks, or these little weird quirks. Their customer service isn't perfect, and you just have to figure it out.
Yeah, the thing about the UPC was I kept listing this item, and it would tell me it listed it, and then it was gone out of my inventory. But it never said, this is an invalid UPC. Like, that's one of those quirks where you're like, why didn't they just tell me? Right. You know?
Right.
But
so I just want to end on the yard sale. So I find like it was our first yard sale of the year, and I find like our scavenging is just evolving. So we talked about, we found these books for Amazon, and we were finding some new in the box stuff that we're mailing it into, but we're still shopping for eBay. Yeah. And so I got a whole box of these French stainless steel 1810 like pans.
It's like cookware.
Right. And you know, he wanted $12 for like a big stack of them. I'm like, man, I'm going to sell each of these for like $40.
And it wasn't, the funny thing was, he was like, yeah, I need to look, I didn't look those up yet, but I know that people sell them for a lot of money for each piece. And I think you were like, why aren't you doing that then? He's like, oh, I don't know. I was like, fine, give them to me for $12 and I'll do it.
So it's good. I mean, it's always, this is why we enjoy what we do, is that it's always about evolving, you know. We're doing what we've always done plus.
Right.
And it makes it fun, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another,
like, we would have never have gotten those books. Like,
I wouldn't in the have old looked days, twice at them.
If he had told me, like, take these books, I'd be like, no way. It's like, you take them as junk. But because we have this new pipeline, this Amazon FBA pipeline, I'm like, I'll take them. Yeah. We'll mail them in and let Amazon store them. We'll see what happens, you know?
I wonder what he thought. It doesn't matter what he thought, but it's just funny that we're like, we'll take them. Yeah. And he's like, why? I don't understand, but so you can definitely have them.
So I'm really excited about yard sales and flea markets too. Because we have these brand new eyes, you know?
Yeah. I mean, whether or not we'll be making a lot of money is another thing, but it's another pipeline.
Exactly. So this week, Ryan you were sending in all kinds of boxes. I think we sent in 300 items for Amazon.
I was like, okay, because here's the thing about Amazon too, and this is the same about eBay. Stuff starts piling up, and you're like, okay, I just have to dedicate a day or 2 or 3, because I think I dedicated almost 3 days to doing it, of just, you got to scan it, you got to price it, and then once you do that, you decide when you stop. You got to print the UPC labels. You got to put them on. You got to pack the boxes. Blah, blah, blah.
But, you know, it's interesting. So I was doing books for eBay. Yeah. Ones that we didn't think would do well sending them into Amazon, and I was doing this for eBay. So you did like 300 books for Amazon.
For over 2 days.
I did maybe 60 for eBay, and it just shows you just the difference of speed, because I'm having to take pictures of each and every book and write the descriptions of every one, whereas on Amazon, you're just scanning or putting in the ISBN
It's so much faster. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
But it's good. It's just a big difference.
It's just different. I mean, this is my thing. It's not less work. It's different work. That's it. Like packing, whatever, it was like 300 pounds worth of books. That's a thing. You got to label each one. If you don't pay for them to label it for you, which I'm not going to, you have to pack the boxes. You have to weigh and measure the boxes. And, it's a whole, you got to bring the boxes to the UPS place. It's just different kinds of work than eBay.
And, again, this ongoing experiment of Amazon FBA for us is, I just do not know where people come up with the idea like you're going to get rich really quick. We still, we're committed to trying the experiment and seeing it through, and it's kind of fun. But man, just the numbers, are not like eBay, and we even tried to do a little bit of retail arbitrage where we're trying to buy some things that we think will sell well, but then you have to pay more to get it. So I don't know. I love eBay. I don't know.
Yeah, well, look, like, man.
And we're about to do our numbers here.
Well, we'll talk about it during the numbers, because it's just, it's two different things.
So, okay. So on eBay, I've been, the past winter time, I've been kind of down on like shoes and jackets and coats. It's something we started with, and I was like, we have this whole storage area full of this stuff.
Right.
And I just found like, are we even selling this stuff?
Yeah.
Like, is it worth doing it? We haven't really been taking pictures of jackets or coats or anything like
time.
that.
Yeah.
We just haven't been interested. But this week, 9 out of 29 items that's sold were either jackets or shoes.
That's good.
And we made about $500 and it's $50.
That's amazing.
Which is about a little. It's about a quarter of our sales. It's this week, and I didn't even notice it. So part of me feels like jackets and shoes still sell well.
Yeah,
we just don't notice it because we get more excited by selling all the
weird random stuff. Yeah, but I think everything is worth selling.
I think too with coats and shoes, which I'm sure other people can understand this. Just the profit margins are so incredible.
Yeah,
where,
oh my gosh.
We can buy pairs of shoes for $3 and we can sell them for $100 sometimes, or $50,
or buy them for less than that and sell them for $50.
Right.
It's incredible.
So this week on our main store, we sold 29 items and we made about $1,500.
Yay.
Which is really good. Yeah. On our second eBay store, we sold 8 items, but we made $360. We did really well.
Yeah, that's good. There was a couple high-priced things.
And then on Amazon, we sold $185 worth of stuff.
Worth of weird junk.
Yeah. Just books and...
Oh my God, $10 books.
But again, that's $185 gross, and so just the fees,
that was gross.
They just kill you.
God, I thought that was like after fees. I was like, that's bad.
Maybe we'll take home $100.
It's so crazy. Yeah. Well,
So anyway, we're approaching about $2,000. It's this week, and that's good.
Yeah.
All right. So some things we sold on eBay. We sold a vintage porch light for $125.
Okay, look, this porch light is definitely from like the 60s or 70s, and I kept getting offers, and I kept getting this one guy who kept being like, I bought these same ones from someone else for $40 each, and he kept trying to like get me to go down. I was like, no, I know that someone's gonna buy this.
It looks like a mid-century cool,
like little lantern light. I'll show you guys when I'm packing it. And I was like, I want $125. You know why? Because if you bought this at like Restoration Hardware, it'd be like more than that.
And it was new in the box.
Yes, new in the box.
Yeah. So I mean, that's really amazing. So one of those things.
$125.
And he bought it, or someone else?
No, someone else bought it. I was so happy.
See, that's where, I mean, I'm not going to do it, but that's where I want to find that guy's email and to message him and to be like, look,
see,
it's sold.
Boo on you. We're like, it's sold a year and a half later.
And here's another example. We sold this like vintage French military holster,
leather, beautiful,
it, like holds like it's a certain kind of gun, and we sold it for $40, and it's been up for at least a year now, and man, every couple months we would have some military dude message us, almost laughing at us, saying like, you're asking too much.
So the problem was this. I had misidentified this holster. This is why I hate holsters. We sell them all the time, but I am no expert on what they are. And I was like, this is definitely super rare, because I saw some other one that looked like it, and I'm putting it up for $250. So all these military guys are like, that's not what you think it is. It's worth $30 max. I bought one for $15 forever and ever and ever. We got so many messages. Finally, I was like, fine. I'm putting $39 on it, and it sold. So that's the story of the holster. We sold a Swatch watch from the 90s. I do really well with these. It was a pop swatch, and it sold for $90. So I was happy about that. Jay, the next one is all you.
We sold a vinyl gym bag for $60.
And you know what's interesting about that is it was mostly vinyl, but it did have leather handles and leather straps, because I packed it last night and I saw that there was actually leather on it.
Again, these are just things that I think just right now I enjoy finding, and because it's just exciting to see these things, because I can't, you can't really say exactly why you think it's going to sell well. It just has a cool look. I mean, it's vinyl, but it just looks like one of those cool bags that a guy's going to have to take to the gym. That isn't just like a Nike bag or whatever. It's just got a cool look to it.
It's sold to a prop company in Seattle.
Well, there you go.
So somebody thought it was cool enough to be in TV and movies. So that was cool. $60. That was a great price.
So things we learned in the comments. Someone linked to a video actually of why floppy disks still sell.
Oh yeah, because we sold those floppy disk holders.
And it's actually a cool. It's video. It interviews this older guy that has a whole business where he buys old floppy disks, cleans them off, repackages them, and then sells them. And he says that who he sells them to is mainly like the government or big industries, because he just says, a lot of these people still have the old floppy disk computers because they have systems that are just too expensive, I guess, to move over, and they still need these floppy disks.
Wow, that's incredible.
So he said that floppy disks do not get made anymore, so there's no new floppy disks out there. So he's one of the ones that he says that buys these things.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, so I'll put a link to that video.
Well, that goes along with, there was a discussion also on the blog about blank cassette tapes and cassette tapes that are not blank and have junk on them, but people erase them and use them again.
About like just
audio
like
cassettes,
little audio cassettes.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
People buy used.
Yeah, that there was a whole discussion about it.
I thought they were talking about some like higher brand quality.
No, they're literally talking about like little Sony tapes. Because Stephen Schultz was saying that a lot of bands are putting out like demo tapes, actual tapes, which is so funny because I'm like, how's anybody listening to them?
And they don't make those anymore?
I think they make cassette tapes still, but it's cheaper. Like if you're going to buy nice, clean, brand new cassette tapes, it's probably expensive. So why not go on eBay and buy like a box of old tapes? And so the way you erase them is you can use this like demagnetizer. It's It's an electronic magnet, and you just run it over the tapes, and that erases them.
So, it's like at some of the thrift stores where we go to, there are boxes of just old cassette tapes.
Yeah.
Can we just buy a big bag of them and resell them?
Well, we have to look up the sold prices and see what they sell for.
Gotcha.
I forget how much Steven Schultz said he sold them for. But he sold them to someone that, like, resells them still. I don't know. It's crazy. But, so old media is not dead. I believe it. I believed it with the vintage computing guys and girls, who buy vintage, like, Apple computers. And, like, that's actually why, to me, it was cool that guy at the yard sale gave us all these old programming books and textbooks and stuff. Because I'm like... There are people who use the old, Mac Classic, and they're, like, programming and, like, doing weird stuff, and here's a book about it.
Yeah.
From 1987.
Well, I think we all know that it's true for anything, that if something ceases to be made,
right,
whether it be Polaroid cameras or floppy disks or whatever, like... Eventually, people then want it because there's fewer of them out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like there's collectors for anything.
There absolutely is. I am convinced of it.
So, and then as scavengers, that's what we're always trying to find are the things that just are no longer made anymore. So if you can sell those things, someone's going to buy it.
Right. Especially on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just like that vintage porch light, like you cannot find that style anymore.
Right.
I mean,
and if you can find it, it's being reproduced by a company that's reproducing it for a lot of money.
Right.
A lot more than what I charged for it.
Okay, so our coming week, I did 2 bins of books, and I have, 2.5 more bins to do.
Books that are not going on Amazon.
Right.
eBay, more ephemera, more rare type things.
Yep.
Although now that I know how to do my own listings on Amazon, that's a good thing to know. But we have done well with rare vintage ephemera type book things on eBay. So if it's not in the Amazon catalog, it's going on eBay. My week... I haven't even thought about it.
I mean, you could either keep sending stuff into Amazon. We still have a couple more loads of stuff to do, or just.
I need to list stuff on eBay.
Yeah.
You know what I did last night?
Yeah, we haven't done anything on eBay this past week or the week before because we were sick.
It's like, remember, we have an eBay business.
And then even when we were doing a couple weeks of Amazon, so we haven't really touched eBay at all.
And you know what? Stuff still sells. Yeah. Last night, when you were, this is like cross podcasting, when you were doing the farmhouse stuff, I was organizing all the photos that you've been taking for the last 2 weeks. I haven't organized any of that. So it was 7 folders of me wow. Oh yeah, here's all these bags and purses and books and randoms. Well,
I mean, that's
wow, good. I haven't listed in a long time.
I mean, that's good. It's just you can basically do it's whatever.
Right, whatever's making money. It
makes you fancy.
Exactly. Well, the great thing about Amazon is you can get these massive piles of books and stuff. And you can go through it, and you get it out of your house. That's the beautiful thing. I love shipping stuff out, because I'm I don't have to store it at all. So
that is exciting.
Yeah. So actually, this morning, Jay had, this community housing board meeting. And I actually got up super early, and I was, scanning stuff into Amazon. You probably saw, because they emails you. But... I was here's a random thing. Let's send it in.
So the other thing is a challenge to you.
Uh-oh.
And that is either a list it or donate it. And that's the stuff on the floor of our office. There are these piles of skirts.
Oh my God.
Or there's some kids' clothes.
There's so much stuff.
And that's stuff that we've had for a long time.
But so I have to make a listed or donate it pile for that stuff?
Yeah, okay. I mean, we just need to get to the point. I mean, this is stuff we've had for a long time.
It's sitting on the floor.
Part of the reason why we put it on the floor like that is so it's in our face, and now we're just walking over it And so we need to just make the decision, like, do we care about this stuff?
Yeah.
Or do we just want to donate it?
Okay, that's a good.
And, like, I have no skin in the game on this stuff.
Okay. I can do that.
Cool. See, guys, this is what it's like. This is how we talk about business,
Oh, my God. Yeah, so that's going to be a fun week.
Yep.
So let's listen to some questions and comments on our voicemail line.
Okay.
You can call us at 540-407-8486. That number is listed on the blog as well. You have 3 minutes to leave a message, and you can call about a comment or a question, and we'll play it on the podcast.
Hi, Jay and Ryan. My name is Tim. I had a quick question. You may have covered this in a previous podcast. I haven't listened to all of them, but I've listened to quite a few lately, and again, enjoy it. But a quick question about traveling. You guys mentioned that you travel, it sounds like around the world, around the country at different times, and that you obviously keep making money, keep selling things. So I'm planning this summer to be gone for a couple months from my home, which means, of course, that I'm away from my storage and my stock, and I obviously can't bring my stock with me when I travel. So I'm curious what you guys do when you travel. Do you use the vacation setting and just tell your customers, hey, we won't ship for a few weeks while we're gone? Or do you hire somebody or have somebody that lives near you to come and do your shipping for you? Just curious about that, since that's something I'll be trying to manage here in a few months. Appreciate it. Love your podcast. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, yes. So we have covered this many times, but I will tell you again. What we do is we change our handling time, and we message people when they buy, hey, we're traveling until X day, and that's when we're going to ship your item. And 90% of people that buy from us are fine with it and don't need their item right away because it's a unique, interesting item that they couldn't find somewhere else. And then 10% say, oh, I need it before you get back, so refund me. And it's fine.
And the reason why changing the handling time is important is that's more eBay. I mean, so that way eBay will back us up if there's any problem, because we have made very clear officially when this item will get shipped.
Right.
So if it's 30 business days from point of sale, then eBay's like, well, that's what you told them. If they get angry, I mean, that's on them. Now,
I wish that vacation settings changed your handling time, but it does not. It just says that this person's away till X date, but it doesn't change the handling time. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about that's the thing about its vacation mode, is that it's disconnected from the handling time.
Right.
So even if the vacation says clearly this person is away and is going to ship in 3 weeks, that has nothing to do with the handling time, so you can get dinged if the person complains.
Exactly. So it's all about the handling time and the messaging. And that's what we do, and it's worked great for us. We've been gone up to 6 weeks. Last year, we were in Europe for 6 weeks.
And we came back and we had almost 200 items that we had to ship. It was great, though.
It took me like a whole week to ship stuff, but it was awesome.
Hello, this is Jessica in Dallas, Texas, and I love listening to your podcast while I'm working. I just had a tip. I've done a lot more Amazon lately, and what Amazon doesn't do is send you opportunities to raise your prices. So if you go through your items once a month or so is what I do, look at who else is selling things. Sometimes you can raise your prices. So if your price is the lowest price and it's $10 and the next highest price is $12, I'll raise my price to $11.99. So that's just a tip to make a little bit more money on Amazon. And also when they do refund people, most of the time things don't get shipped back. So they'll end up giving you that money back in a month or so. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, yes, that is an awesome tip. And there are a couple things that I sent in recently where there was only one other seller and they had like 2 of them left. So I'm just going to like monitor those items. And as soon as that person sells out, I'm gonna raise my price because I'll be the only one that has that stuff. So, agreed. I think Jay has been good about going through our Amazon stuff and either if there's like 10 other people selling stuff, making sure we're the lowest or close to the lowest, if that's feasible for the item, or I've been good about trying to be like, well, there's only one below me, so I'm gonna be a higher price. So that's the good thing about Amazon FBA, I find, is that you do have control over the price. So if you do want something to move quickly, you can adjust it, or if you think, I think I can make more money on this thing, let's bump it up.
I think the only thing we find that for us we don't have control over on Amazon is the stuff we scavenge for, because we like to not spend a lot of money on the inventory, right. So we're just finding stuff, and a lot of it seems really long tail, and that's what we just don't know, is that how quickly that stuff will sell, right. Or not,
right. It's just a different beast. And I feel like Amazon is so different than eBay on pricing. Like, I almost never change my prices on eBay. I'm like, this is the price. And obviously what's different is you have make an offer on eBay and you don't have make an offer on Amazon. So there is a vast amount of flexibility with eBay where someone can even just message you. Like, nobody messages you on Amazon, So, on eBay, hey, would you take $25 for this? Yeah, I'd take $25. Send them an offer, And so it's a different system. And that's why I never think about prices on eBay, because people know there's a flexibility there that's not there on Amazon. So, two different beasts.
Hi, Jay and Ryan. This is Mike calling from Louisiana. I'm a huge fan of the show. I won't take up too much of the precious time of the podcast talking about how it has changed my life as far as my eBay world. But your help has been really invaluable, and I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of listeners. My question was, I wanted to ask about social media and if you feel like it helps to use social media to promote. I'm not sure if you guys really do much of it, but I've been trying to kind of set myself apart from the crowd. I feel like, the whole post it and wait and just kind of post it and forget it. Sometimes I get impatient and I feel like, well, I want to do something. So I was just wondering your opinions on the different social media platforms, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, even Instagram, you name it. I was just wondering your thoughts on that. Thanks.
Okay, I am of the opinion that none of those things matter. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it seems like that doesn't matter if you're just trying to sell items.
Yeah.
I think it matters if you're trying to become like some kind of known quantity online about selling stuff, like more as a seller. But, for our store, we've done Pinterest a little bit.
I've done Pinterest a little bit. And you know what? I don't think it matters one bit. Yeah. I don't think it matters at all.
However, I'm sure there are people hearing us who I think that there's like these little subcultures. Some people sell on Instagram where they start developing a reputation on Instagram
for selling X items.
Where they sell like vintage stuff and people say, I want this. And then they just do PayPal
or whatever they
stuff.
Do. Yeah.
I know that that's something. But again, I think when people talk about social media, they act like they're going to, plug in these things and then suddenly their sales are just going to skyrocket. I bet whoever runs like their Instagram feed and sells things with that, it's just still work. I mean, so it's like, are you going to spend your time running an Instagram feed and selling things off there, or just shoveling stuff into Amazon or eBay? I mean, it's all work. It's just wherever you have fun selling.
Yeah. We've always said this too, because there are people on this blog who hang out on our blog who do great on Etsy because they put the work into Etsy. They make a living off Etsy, essentially. I can't sell to save my life on Etsy.
But that's because, from what I understand, they're hanging out in these forums.
They're doing the work.
Doing tags and, they're investing their time in a system, and then they're getting paid for that.
Exactly.
And your mom sometimes sells in these Facebook groups.
Facebook groups,
and she's like in there and talking to people, and people buy things and then pick them up on her porch, and they leave money in the mail slot or whatever. I mean, and so...
But it's work.
Right.
She did so much. She cleaned out her house before she moved doing that, okay? And she will tell you, she'll be the first one to tell you, look, you have to be on it all day long because you're getting messages, and then so many people post on those that...
And she told us, though, the prices, and I was like, that's it? Like,
well, she was really just trying to clean stuff out. So she wasn't getting, like, eBay-type prices for stuff. But the thing about different social media is you have to put the work in, and that's what's going to help. I am not willing to put work in any other place but eBay and now, Amazon, but mostly eBay. That's where our money is made. And that's where we enjoy selling. And we made that decision in 2009. And it's worked for us.
Yeah.
So
time is the thing that none of us have enough of.
Right.
And so
right.
we each just choose where we want to spend our time and figure out what's the maximum profit you can get for that.
Look, and that's not to say you shouldn't try those places. You should see what's interesting to you. If you like those different platforms and you're like, I love Instagram. I totally love the community. I love being this vintage person on Instagram. Awesome. Do that. Different people have different platforms that they love. So that's the new world that we live in. What platform do you love? Platform website.
That's it for the week. You can check out our blog at scavengerlife.com. That's where we talk about all the links, or that's where we'll put the links, and you can join the conversation there.
You can leave a question or a comment on something you heard or something you read or saw. The phone number is 540-407-8486, and you have 3 minutes to leave a message.
And we post an episode every Sunday night and Monday morning. On Wednesdays, we post our What Sells video.
And I will say, lots of people have been posting their What Sells videos. Yeah. I have very much enjoyed them. I feel like so excited when people post them because I'm like, finally, I get to hang out where people are packing their stuff. And I'm not alone.
Our blog is on Blogger, and if you just put a YouTube link in the comment, it automatically makes it into...
It's embedded,
a player, so it's great. So
it's right there.
Just link to it, people will watch it.
It's really fun.
And it's fun to see the different things that people sell. I do say... People, I encourage you not to play as music during those things.
Yeah.
I know what you think, it might be boring, but I find the music distracting.
Okay, but here's the thing, and I have to very much stop myself. When you're packing stuff for eBay, this is just anyone who does the shipping. You're either listening to a podcast, the radio, or music, or, talk radio or music. And it's so hard because you're like, okay, I got to walk over to my table and videotape this thing, but I got to turn my music off. So I essentially just am silent when I'm packing now.
Well,
but it's kind of hard.
It's not just because I might find it annoying, and that's just my opinion, but also YouTube, if you're playing commercial music,
they'll flag it.
They will flag your video because you're playing copyrighted music in there. So you might want to be careful of that.
Yeah, and that's something I always think about. I'm like, if I'm listening to music, I'm like, I gotta turn this off.
Okay, and you can subscribe to us through iTunes or through YouTube, so you'll always get the latest. Someone was mentioning in our iTunes feed, our What Sells its video is only 30 seconds long.
Yeah.
And it's always been like that. We don't put the full video in the iTunes feed because the videos are too large.
Yeah, they're big files.
And we know people don't always like to be downloading, 500 megabytes or whatever file onto their iPod. So we just do a little...
It's a teaser. It's a snippet.
And then people can then watch it on the blog if they want to.
Basically, it's a reminder hey, this is available, so go watch it on the blog.
And if you want, we're now doing it every week. We did another podcast. We do another podcast over at shampooandbooze.com, and you can hear our continuing story of our rental business, and we're getting up a rental right now. So all this money we made this week is getting pumped into another house right now.
That's right.
So, okay. This podcast is ending in 3, 2,
1, 0.